Calling all entomologists, creepy crawlies, and insect lovers, this list is for you. Insects, while quite often small, can sometimes pack a huge punch. There are millions of different species of insects, like ants, bees, wasps, hornets, and more, but there are only a select few that get to be in the prestigious bug club of having the most painful stings. To accurately convey the pain level for our insect friends, we'll be looking at the 4-point Schmidt Sting Pain Index, created by famous entomologist Justin Schmidt, who has been stung and bitten by just about every insect under the sun. What a madman. I'm Mike with List 25, and for all you bug fans, let's take a look at the 25 most painful insect stings in the world. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, sting that notification bell. Oh man, that was dumb. So you don't miss out on any new content. And with that out of the way, let's go. #25. Most small bees. We'll start off easy. Most small bees, like sweat bees, carpenter bees, and many others, score a 1 on the Schmidt Pain Index scale. Justin Schmidt has described the sting of these bees as a small spark that singed one of your arm hairs, and like a light sunburn after a day at the beach. There are plenty of bees that fall into this category, and their stings are all fairly comparable in terms of pain. #24. Indian jumping ant. The Indian jumping ant is only a 1 on the Schmidt Pain Index, but despite the small pain, they do actually have a surprising talent. No, it's not jumping, although they can do that. The Indian jumping ant can actually shrink and grow its own brain. They shrink their brain when breeding, and then they regrow their brain after a few days. Schmidt compares the sting they give to a particularly bitter cup of coffee. Okay, Justin. Okay. #23. Mexican twig ant. The Mexican twig ant can be found in Mexico, but it's also fairly common in the southeast US. They make their homes in the abandoned burrows that other insects have made in branches, trees, or pretty much anything made of wood. They can commonly get into people's clothes, and they will repeatedly sting whoever they're on until they're removed. The venom they inject can make it feel like you're being bitten repeatedly, and the pain lasts longer than many other small ants. They score fairly low, also coming in at 1 on the Schmidt Pain Index. #22. Red fire ant. The red fire ant is quite well known among many, as they are very common in many parts of the world. Their sting is only scored at a 1 on the Schmidt Pain Index, but their venom can be potent among anyone with certain allergies. A sting from this insect will result in small itchy lumps that last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. The sting eventually turns into small filled blisters and remains there for a few days. Schmidt described the fire ant sting as sharp, sudden, mildly alarming, like walking across a shag carpet and reaching for the light switch. The man has a way with words. #21. Western cicada killer. The western cicada killer is technically a wasp that is quite common in the western parts of North America. The cicada killer is the largest wasp in all of California, and they will often implant their eggs in cicadas that they paralyze. The eggs will hatch from inside the cicada and eat it from the inside. Despite their size, their intimidating look, and the horrifying way that they breed, their sting is actually quite tame. In fact, it only scores a 1.5 on the Schmidt Pain Index. #20. Western honeybee. This bee is the most common type of honeybee in Europe, and is the bee we most commonly think of when we think of, well, a honeybee. The western honeybee is the beginning of our insects that score a 2 on the Schmidt Pain Index. Justin Schmidt actually compares every sting to the sting of a western honeybee to see where it ranks on the pain index. Honeybees are almost always non-violent and typically only sting as a last resort, as their stinger is often removed along with its digestive system after stinging. #19. Sonoran bumblebee. The Sonoran bumblebee is actually the most common bumblebee you'll see here in the US. Much like its cousin the honeybee, the bumblebee also scores a 2 on the Schmidt Pain Index. Unlike most honeybees, the bumblebee has a smooth stinger, which means it can sting you multiple times should it so choose. The bumblebee isn't aggressive at all, is a pollinator, and is by far the cutest insect on this list, which means it wins the award for coolest insect ever. They are adorable. Look up bee butts, and you'll get like little bees sticking out of the flowers and the little fuzzy butts. It's great. You want to pick me up? 18. Yellow jacket. The yellow jacket is very common, and they typically kill entire colonies of honeybees. The yellow jacket only scores a 2 on the Schmidt Pain Index, but is very aggressive. Yellow jackets have been known to chase people and get aggravated when they're being swatted at. Schmidt describes the pain by comparing it to having a cigar put out on your tongue. This pain can last for up to 10 minutes. Story time. I've been stung by yellow jackets on many occasions because when I was a child in summer camp, shout out to Camp Coleman in Cleveland, Georgia, we had a yellow jacket problem near some of the bunks. And I was like, oh, I'll handle it, no problem. So anytime I saw a yellow jacket, they usually tend to bury in the ground, I would take a rock and smash it to try to collapse the hole. Didn't always work. I would run as fast as I could. I am not faster than the yellow jacket, I learned. At least 10-year-old me was not. Oh my god, so much stinging. Oh my good lord. Yep. So, cigar on a tongue. Maybe. It sucked, I can tell you that much. 17. Matabele ants. The Matabele ant is most commonly found in Africa. They score a 2 on the Schmidt Pain Index and can commonly be seen in a massive stream walking across the road. They are also known by the name of termite hunter ants because they will often travel in packs to destroy entire termite mounds. Experiencing a Matabele ant sting can leave you in pain for days if you happen to get stung multiple times. In fact, locals often stop their car and wait for them to pass rather than drive over them and risk them getting in the car. 16. Mexican honey wasp. The Mexican honey wasp is a wasp that is smaller than the honeybee but packs a very similar sting at a 2 on the Schmidt Pain Index. They can sting multiple times, but often won't unless their nest is threatened. The honey wasp does produce honey, much like honeybees, and the honey that can be collected is considered a delicacy in some parts of Mexico. They even feed on harmful insects that kill greenery and flowers. 15. Artistic wasp. The artistic wasp is, ironically, a wasp that's nearly all black. Its sting scores a 2 on the Schmidt Pain scale, and it can be quite aggressive. They spray venom into their own nest, and just the smell of their venom alone deters predators and protects the nest. Schmidt describes their sting as pure, then messy, then corrosive. Oh. What? That sounds horrible. That's a 2? Alright. Schmidt, you weirdo. 14. European hornet. The European hornet is actually a nocturnal hornet. Oh my god, that sounds awful. And can be known to fly up against people's windows in the middle of the night. Its sting scored a 2 on the pain index scale, and like many other hornets, can sting multiple times in a short period of time. They hunt many other small insects, including honeybees and yellow jackets. They usually make their nests in trees and almost any exposed wood. They tend to stay close to farms and have been known to destroy crops. 13. Trapjaw ant. The trapjaw ant sting is just a little bit more painful than the honeybee's sting, but it remains in the 2-point range for the Schmidt Pain Index. What they lack in pain, they make up for in quantity, as these ants can sting multiple times. These ants are known for the massive mandibles they have open at all times and then snap shut at incredible speeds. Be glad you're not small enough for them to trap you with said mandibles and then sting you repeatedly. 12. Hairy panther ant. The hairy panther ant is actually one of the largest ants in all of North America and gets its name because it's covered in, well, very fine hairs. The hairy panther ant sting comes in at 2 points on the Schmidt Pain Index. The actual sting consists of a burning sensation, similar to being on fire for upwards of 10 minutes, again just a 2. They mostly eat termites, which do make them useful for pest control, but you should be wary about stepping on their home. 11. Bald-faced hornet. The bald-faced hornet scores a 2 on the pain index scale, and Schmidt describes the sting as rich, hearty, slightly crunchy. I'm sorry, are we getting stung by these or eating these? Similar to getting your hand mashed in a revolving door. What? What? If we didn't know any better, we'd think he was describing a nice sandwich. Bald-faced hornets typically only sting if you're within 3 feet of their nest. Oh wow, that they had to figure that out the hard way, I bet. Do they measure that? They actually feed primarily on flower nectar, which makes them a pollinator, and they kill typical pest insects, so they're quite beneficial. So if you find one of their nests, you should probably just, avoid them and leave them alone. 10. Asian giant hornet. The Asian giant hornet is more commonly known as the murder hornet. We all remember them. While it only scores a 2 on the Schmidt Pain Index, the venom that it injects through its stinger can be fatal, especially if it stings you multiple times. And they're called giant for a reason, as they are roughly the size of a human palm. Dear God, I'm gonna have nightmares. And they typically only sting humans when they're handled. Who's handling them? Other than Justin Schmidt. 9. The bull ant. The bull ant is most commonly found in Australia and are known for their very long and large mandibles. They are very large and typically have nests burrowed into the ground. Their sting scores a 2 on the Schmidt Pain Index. Unlike most other ant colonies that have thousands of ants, bull ant colonies typically only have a few hundred at most. The bull ant does have an aggressive nature, and their sting has been known to put people into shock if they happen to be allergic, and if left untreated, the sting could wind up being fatal. 8. Fierce black polybia wasp. The fierce black polybia wasp, interestingly, scores a 2.5 on the Schmidt Pain Index scale. The sting is described as a ritual gone wrong, satanic. The gas lamp in the old church explodes in your face when you light it. Somehow that doesn't get this wasp into the 3-point club, but it's still more painful than the rest of the 2s. They tend to nest near caterpillars and sting them to paralyze them. They then take the body of the caterpillar back to their nests to eat. 7. Metricus paper wasp. The Metricus paper wasp marks the first time we come across an insect that scores a 3 out of the 4 of the Schmidt Pain Index. It's time for the big guns now. The Metricus paper wasp is often found on farms, and it acts as a natural predator to other pests that destroy crops. While their sting will find you with a swollen welt, they aren't very aggressive at all, and only sting when they feel threatened. Unlike the next 2, the Metricus paper wasp's sting will only hurt for a minute before just becoming bothersome after that. 6. Harvester ant. The harvester ant also scores a 3 on the Schmidt Pain Index, and its sting is about 20 times as potent as a honeybee's sting. The venom from the harvester ant can last for nearly a week. Searing pain is followed by swelling, tenderness, and periodic itching. Due to the length that the venom stays in the body, it can become a serious medical problem if not treated quickly and properly. 5. Red paper wasp. The red paper wasp is quite common in North America, and often build their nests on structures and homes, often near people. They will usually only sting you if they believe their nest is threatened, but when they do sting, they sting multiple times, and the sting is quite painful. The red paper wasp scores a 3 on the pain index scale, and its sting is described as caustic and burning, like spilling a beaker of hydrochloric acid on a paper cut. Wow, that sounds like fun. In fact, the pain persists for upwards of 10 minutes before any relief will come. Oh boy! 4. The velvet ant. The velvet ant stinger is nearly half of the length of its body, so it's nice to know that these ants are relatively docile, unless attacked or picked up. When someone or something does happen to bother the velvet ant, they're in for a bad time, because the velvet ant scores a 3 on the Schmidt Pain Index. If you were to be stung by this ant, you would feel the ongoing pain from it for nearly half an hour. The velvet ant gets its name from the reddish fuzz that it has on its body, indicating to other animals that it's venomous and shouldn't be bothered. So hey, at least it lets you know ahead of time. If this is the ant I'm thinking it is, or if the ant I'm remembering is one of these, I should say, I saw, again, Camp Coleman, saw one of these, and I believe, like, if you kind of touch it, I believe it goes like, ee! It's an ant that makes a noise. So that's kind of crazy. So, yeah, yellow jackets and velvet ants. Sweet. Summer camp. 3. Warrior wasp. The warrior wasp marks the beginning of the cream of the crop when it comes to pain. From here on out, we're only looking at the most painful stings. The warrior wasp scores a 4 on the Schmidt Pain Index. Justin Schmidt describes the pain as torture and as if you are chained in the flow of an active volcano. The initial sting creates an immediate welt, and as the pain sets in, it's said to feel like an electrical current going through your body. What's worse is the warrior wasp is very aggressive and very territorial. So if you come across one, you may be in for a world of hurt. 2. Tarantula hawk wasp. The tarantula hawk wasp earns 4 points on the Schmidt pain index, so it's for sure a nasty one. Schmidt describes the pain as instantaneous, electrifying, and totally debilitating, saying that the only reaction people have to being stung is simply to lie down and scream. Thankfully, mercifully, the tarantula hawk wasp is relatively docile and usually only attacks when provoked. They usually just attack tarantulas, which is, how they got the name. They inject venom with their stingers that paralyzes the tarantulas, then they lay eggs in the still living body. But you know what? These are only found somewhere tropical and far away, right? What's that? They're in the southern United States and the rest of the Americas? Cool. I'm moving to the North Pole. 1. Bullet ant. Boy, oh boy, is this thing terrifying. The bullet ant is aptly named because its sting results in a drilling-like pain that is often compared to, you guessed it, getting shot. Many other insects rate much lower on the Schmidt pain index, but the bullet ant manages to score a 4+. Schmidt describes the pain as pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail in your heel. These ants live in massive ant colonies with upwards of 3,000. And, fun fact, when one ant stings you, it sends a message to other ants to also sting you, so you deal with one of them, you deal with all 3,000 of them. Let's just be glad that these things are only native to rainforests in Central and South America. And if you live near one of those, I am so sorry. So, what's the worst insect sting you've ever experienced? Let us know in the comments below. For me, probably those yellow jackets. I don't think I've ever done... I mean, it's not a sting. Horsebite flies were annoying. Horsebite flies? Horsefly bites were annoying. I had one that would only attack me and no one else. That was painful and annoying. But probably the yellow jackets for me. And as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content, join the Discord, do all that fun stuff. Check out my social medias in the descriptions below, although I do have to change Twitter to X. I'll adjust that, I guess. But it's still Twitter. It's still Twitter. Everyone knows that. So, thank you guys so much. And as always, I will see you next time.